Welcome children. Today I am dealing with a topic motion in a straight line. This can also be called as one-dimensional motion. This motion in a straight line can be called as one-dimensional motion. One-dimensional motion, and there is a branch of physics which deals with the study of movement of macroscopic objects, and that is called as mechanics. So mechanics is a branch of physics which deals with the study of movement of macroscopic objects, and this mechanics we can mainly classify into three. First one is statics, then kinematics, and last one is dynamics. So this mechanics is a branch of physics which deals with the study of movement of macroscopic objects. So it can again categorize into three as statics, kinematics and dynamics. And this statics is a branch of mechanics which deals with the study of objects at rest. So here we are studying about objects at rest, that means not moving, objects at rest. And kinematics is a branch of mechanics which deals with the study of moving objects, without taking into account the cause of motion. So without taking into account which one? The cause of motion. So here we are not studying about the cause of motion, but simply we are studying about which one? The moving objects. That is called as kinematics. Then dynamics is another one branch of mechanics which deals with the study of moving objects. Taking into account which one? The cause of motion. So here we are taking into account which one? The cause of motion. So in dynamics, we are actually studying about moving objects as well as the cause of motion. So what is the cause of motion also we are studying in which one? Dynamics. But in kinematics, we are simply studying about moving objects. We are not going into detail what is the cause of motion. And statics is another one branch of mechanics which deals with the study of objects at a rest. Clear? So these are the three branches of mechanics, and mechanics is a branch of physics which deals with the study of movement of macroscopic objects. Okay. Now, what is meant by rest and motion? A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to time and surroundings. Suppose this object is moving, that means that it is changing its position with respect to time and surroundings. This object is moving from here to here. That means it is changing its position from one place to another place. So, a body is said to be in motion whenever it changes its position with respect to time and surroundings. Clear? Similarly, what is rest? Rest means a body is said to be at rest if it does not changes its position with respect to time and surroundings. So if you are keeping the body still here, that means it is not moving, that means it is at a rest. It is not changing its position with respect to time and surroundings. So whenever an object changes its position with respect to time and surroundings, then the body is said to be in motion. And whenever a body does not change its position with respect to time and surroundings, then the body is said to be at a rest. Okay, so this is the difference between motion and rest. So motion means we are actually changing its position. So whenever a body is changing its position, it is called as motion. And whenever a body is not changing its position with respect to time and surroundings, then the object is said to be at a rest. Okay. Now another one term is point object. So what is meant by point object? So an object is said to be a point object if its mass is very small compared to the distance travelled by the object. So if the distance travelled by the object is more compared to its mass, then we can consider that particular object as a point object. For example, suppose a train is travelling a very long distance. So kilometers it is moving. So much kilometers it is moving. Then compared to the distance travelled by the train, the mass of the train is small. That means we can consider the train as which one? A point object. So if it is travelling a very long distance, so compared to that distance, the train can be considered as a point object. Similarly, movement of earth around the sun. So it is moving around the sun. So at that time we can consider that earth as a point object because it is moving around the sun. So compared to the distance covered by the earth, the mass of the earth is very small. So we can consider this earth as a point object. So if the mass of a particular object is very small compared to the distance travelled by that particular object, then that object can be considered as which one? Point object, or we can say point mass. So point object or point mass. Next is frame of reference. So it is the place from which motion of an object can be observed and measured. So it is the place from which motion of an object can be observed and measured. For example, in order to locate the motion of an object, we need a coordinate system. That means this coordinate system consists of x, y and z axis. So in order to describe the position or motion of an object, we need a coordinate system and there must be an origin. And this origin can be considered as the frame of reference. So from which we are measuring all the quantities. Clear? For example, I am taking, suppose one person is moving from a bus stand. So this is a bus stand. And this person is moving to some other place from the bus stand and he reaches to some other place here. Here at a distance of 50 km from the bus stand. So we are saying that this person is at a distance of 50 km from this bus stand. That means we are taking this bus stand as the frame of reference. Frame of reference. The place from which the motion of this person can be observed and measured. That can be called as which one? Frame of reference. That means now this person is at a distance of 50 km from this bus stand. So here this bus stand is acting as the frame of reference. So in the case of coordinate system, we can say this origin. So this is x, y, z axis. X, y, z axis. And this can be considered as the origin. And all the distance we are measuring from where? From the origin. So this origin can be considered as the frame of reference. So it is a place from which the motion of an object can be observed and measured. That is called as frame of reference. Okay. And based on the number of coordinates required to specify the motion of an object, we can classify motion into three categories. First one is one-dimensional motion. Second one, two-dimensional motion. And third one, three-dimensional motion. So first one is one-dimensional motion. One-dimensional motion. The other name for one-dimensional motion is linear motion, or we can say rectilinear motion. So, or we can say linear motion, or rectilinear motion. Rectilinear motion. So, in this one-dimensional motion, this body is moving along a straight line. So whenever body moves in a straight line path, it can be considered as which one? One-dimensional motion. That means here this body needs only one of the coordinates. Already we have three coordinates, x, y and z, and this body is moving through only one of the coordinates for its movement. That is called as which one? One-dimensional motion. For example, suppose a train is traveling through a straight railway track. Train passing through a straight railway track. Straight railway track can be considered as which one? One-dimensional motion. But the reason is it needed only which one? Only one coordinate to describe its motion. Okay, that is called as one-dimensional motion. Then second one is two-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional motion. That means motion in a plane. Motion in a plane can be considered as two-dimensional motion. Motion in a plane. That means here it needs how many coordinates? Two coordinates. So here this body requires two coordinates to specify its motion. So in the case of two-dimensional motion, that body requires how many coordinates? Two coordinates to specify its motion. That is called as which one? Two-dimensional motion. For example, movement of carom board. So it is a motion in a plane. It needs two coordinates to which one? To specify its motion. And similarly, suppose a bus is traveling or a car is traveling in a zigzag road. Zigzag road, that is also an example for which one? Two-dimensional motion. So it is an example for motion in a plane. It requires two of the coordinates to specify its motion. That is called as two-dimensional motion. Now the third one is three-dimensional motion. Three-dimensional motion. So in three-dimensional motion, that object requires all the three coordinates to specify its motion. For example, movement in space. So motion in space can be considered as which one? Three-dimensional motion. Motion in space. So it requires all the three coordinates to specify its motion. For example, movement of kite. Movement of kite. Okay, it can be taken as which one? It is a three-dimensional motion. And movement of aeroplane in space. Movement of aeroplane in space. That can be also considered as which one? Three-dimensional motion, because it needs how many coordinates? Three coordinates to specify its motion. That means x, y and z. So based on number of coordinates required, this motion can be classified into three categories as one-dimensional, two-dimensional and three-dimensional. So in one-dimensional motion, this particle requires only one of the coordinates. So any one, that means either x, y or z. So it needs only one of the coordinates to specify its motion. Then second one is two-dimensional motion. There the particle requires two coordinates to specify its motion. And in three-dimensional motion, this particle requires all the three coordinates to specify its motion. Next is distance. So distance is the actual path length covered by an object. So it is the actual path length covered by an object during its motion in a particular interval of time. That is called as which one? Distance. So it is the actual path length. Actual path length covered by an object. Actual path length covered by an object during its motion for a given interval of time can be considered as distance. And this unit of distance is taken as SI unit of distance is meter, and this distance can be considered as a scalar quantity. So it is considered as a scalar quantity because it has only magnitude and it has no direction. So it is considered as a scalar quantity. And similarly we have another one term called as displacement. Displacement. So displacement is the shortest distance between the initial point and final point. So displacement can be considered as the shortest distance. Shortest distance between initial point and a final point. And this unit of displacement is same as that of which one? Distance itself. Unit is which one? Meter. So SI unit of displacement is meter itself. And this displacement can be considered as a vector quantity. It is considered as vector quantity because it has both magnitude and direction. So this distance is the actual path length covered by the object, and its displacement is the shortest distance between the initial point and final point. Suppose I am taking 2 points here. So this is the initial point of a person A, and B is the final point. Final point. And suppose one person starting from here moving like this and reaches here. Okay, so this is one path. So this is one path taken by this person. Similarly, another one path is like this. So this is the second path traveled by the person, and another one path is like this. This is the third path. Okay, and here this is A to B. First path is taken as the actual path length covered by the object. Okay, this is the actual path length covered by the object. So this one can be considered as distance itself. So one is taken as distance because it gives the total path length covered by the object. Okay, then the second one also shows which one? The actual path length. That means second is also which one? Only distance. So second also shows the distance covered by the person, but this third shows which one? The shortest distance between the initial and final point. Actually this person travels like this, but what happens here? The shortest distance between the initial point and final point is this one, from A to B. This straight line. So this indicates which one? This 3 indicates displacement. So displacement is the shortest distance between the initial point and the final point. Okay. So from this itself we can understand that this displacement may be always less than, or it may be equal to also. Less than or equal to which one? Distance. Suppose one person is traveling in a straight road from A to B. From A to B this person is traveling. It's a straight road. Okay, in this case, distance is equal to which one only? Distance equals displacement. Both are same. So whenever a body is moving in a straight line, distance and displacement both are same. So in this case, distance is equal to which one? Displacement. Or in this case, what happened? Displacement is less than distance. So this displacement can be written as less than, or it may be equal to which one? Distance. Okay. And this distance can be considered as which one? A scalar quantity, and displacement is considered as a vector quantity. And this distance is always taken as positive. So it is always positive. Distance is always positive. But this displacement can be positive, negative, or zero. So displacement can be positive, negative as well as zero, but this distance is always positive. The actual path length is always positive only. But here, when the displacement comes now, when it comes in opposite direction, it may become negative also. Okay, so the displacement can be negative, or it can be zero, or it can be positive, but its distance is always which one? Positive. Okay, so these are some of the difference between which one? Distance and displacement. So first one I told you, distance is the actual path length travelled by the object. So first difference is first one, definition itself. So this distance indicates the actual path length covered by the object, and this displacement is the shortest distance. So this is the shortest distance, and here actual path length covered by the object. Distance is the actual path length covered by the object, and displacement is the shortest distance between the initial point and final point. Then second point is distance is a scalar quantity, and here displacement is a vector quantity. Then another one, distance is always positive. Third one, this always positive. Distance is always positive, but displacement can be positive, negative, or zero. Positive, negative, or zero. And similarly, distance is always greater than which one? Displacement, or it may be equal. So fourth one, distance is may be greater than or equal to which one? Displacement. Displacement. In return, displacement will be less than or equal to which one? Distance. So these are some of the difference between which one? Distance and displacement. So this displacement can be positive, negative, or zero. When the zero comes, so whenever the initial point and final point are same, at that time what will happen to displacement? It may be zero. Suppose a person is starting from here. The person is starting from here A and reaches B. So it starts from here, reaches B, and this person is returning back to this point A itself. Now what is the initial point? A is the initial point, as well as what is the final point? A itself. So whenever initial point is equal to which one? Final point. So at that time what about displacement? Displacement is zero. So whenever initial point and final point both are same, this displacement will be zero. Next is speed. Speed is the rate of change of position of an object. That means distance divided by time. Okay, the rate of change of position of an object can be considered as speed. That is, it is given by the formula speed equals distance by time. Distance divided by time. So it is the rate of change of position of an object, and this unit of speed is taken as meter per second, because the distance unit is meter and time unit is second. So the unit is meter per second, and the speed is considered as a scalar quantity. So it is a scalar quantity. So why it is a scalar quantity? Because the speed means distance by time. This distance is a scalar quantity. So this speed is also a scalar quantity. It depends only on magnitude. Then dimension of speed is given by dimension is given by, we know the dimension LT raised to minus 1. So m power is not there, so we can write as m raised to 0. So m raised to 0, LT raised to minus 1 is the dimension of speed as well as velocity. So both are having same dimension. The speed is the rate of change of position of an object, and this unit is meter per second. It is a scalar quantity, and its dimension is m raised to 0, LT raised to minus 1. Then we have to study about the different types of speed. Types of speed. So first one is uniform speed. Uniform speed. That means if a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, then it is said to be a uniform speed. So if a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, then this body is said to be at uniform speed, as well as we can say the body is said to be in uniform motion. Okay, so if a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, then the body is said to be at uniform speed, or we can say the body is said to be at uniform motion. Okay, similarly next one is variable speed. Second one, variable speed. That is just opposite of which one? Uniform speed. If a body does not cover equal distance in equal interval of time, then the body is said to be in variable speed. So if a body does not cover equal distance in equal intervals of time, then the body is said to be at variable speed. So it is the opposite of which one? Uniform speed. Then another one is average speed. Third one. Third one is average speed. So whenever a body is in variable speed, so whenever a body is moving with a variable speed, then at that time only we have to find which one? Average speed. So this average speed is given by the ratio of total distance travelled by total time. So this average speed is given by the ratio of total distance covered by which one? Total time. Total time. So this is the formula for which one? Average speed. V average means average speed. So whenever a body is moving with which one? Variable speed. So at that time we have to find which one? Average speed. Okay. And this average speed is given by the formula total distance by which one? Total time. The next one, fourth one is instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. So this instantaneous speed is the speed of an object at a particular instant of time. So speed at a particular instant. At a particular instant of time. At a particular instant of time. Can be called as which one? Instantaneous speed. So the speed of an object at a particular instant, not an interval, not at a time interval. So at a particular instant, that means suppose at a time t equal to 2 seconds or at a time t equal to 4 seconds. So at that particular time, what is the speed? That is called as which one? Instantaneous speed. And this instantaneous speed is given by the formula. Suppose we are taking v as the instantaneous speed. Then we can write this v as limit. So limit and all we will be studying later, I think so. We will be studying in max. So limit delta t tends to 0. So whenever this time interval is tending to 0, that means it may be moving towards a particular time. Delta t means one time interval, and this time interval is reducing and coming to which one? 0. That means it becomes a particular time. Okay. So when limit delta t tends to 0, delta x by delta t. So this is the distance by time. This can be again written as, this fully can be written as dx by dt. Dx by dt. So this dx by dt is the formula for which one? Instantaneous speed. That means at a particular interval, not particular interval, at a particular time. So at a particular time, what is the speed? That is called as which one? Instantaneous speed. So speed at a particular instant of time. So that means at that time, what will happen? The time interval, this delta t indicates which one? Time interval. Time interval. and this time interval is reducing. Suppose this much time interval is there, means it may be reducing and going to 0. That means it may become a particular time. So at a particular time, what is the speed? That is called as which one? Instantaneous speed. So these are the different types of which one? Speed. Okay. Next is velocity. So velocity is the rate of change of displacement of a body. Speed is the rate of change of distance, and this velocity is the rate of change of displacement of a body, and this velocity is given by the formula displacement by time. Displacement divided by time. So it is the rate of change of displacement of a body, and this unit of velocity is given by meter per second, because unit of displacement is meter and unit of time is which one? Second. So unit is meter per second, and this velocity is considered as a vector quantity. So it is a vector quantity. So why it is a vector quantity? Because displacement is a vector quantity, we know, and since displacement is a vector quantity, this velocity also is a vector quantity. So it has both magnitude and a direction, and its dimension is given by, dimension is same as that of which one? Dimension of speed. So dimension is same as that of speed, that is m raised to 0, L, t raised to minus 1. So this is the dimension of which one? Velocity. So dimension of velocity as well as dimension of speed both are same. Now we have to study about the different types of velocity. Types of velocity. So first one is uniform velocity. Okay, so already we studied about uniform speed. Similarly, we have to study about which one? Uniform velocity. So first one, uniform velocity. So uniform velocity means if a body covers equal displacement in equal interval of time, the body is said to be at uniform velocity. So whenever a body covers equal displacement in equal interval of time, equal displacement only, not equal distance. So equal displacement in equal interval of time, that is called as which one? Uniform velocity. And second one is variable velocity. Variable velocity. A body is said to be moving with variable velocity if either its magnitude or speed is changing or its direction changes. So if either its speed or its direction changes, then we can say that the body is said to be in variable velocity. So a body is said to be in moving with variable velocity if either its speed or its direction changes. That is called as which one? Variable velocity. Speed means magnitude. Speed, this magnitude of velocity can be called as which one? Speed. So if either its speed or if either its direction is changing, then we can say the body is in which one? Variable velocity. Okay. Similarly, next one is which one? Average velocity. Third one is average velocity. Average velocity. So whenever a body is moving with a variable velocity, so at that time how will you find average velocity? So average velocity is defined as the ratio of total displacement by total time. So in the previous case we studied about average speed. So average speed is defined as the ratio of total distance by total time, and this average velocity is given by the ratio of which one? Total displacement by total time. So this average velocity is given by the ratio of total displacement divided by total time. Total displacement divided by total time. So whenever a body is moving with a variable velocity, at that time we have to find which one? Average velocity, and it is given by the ratio of total displacement and total time. And what is variable velocity? A body is said to be at variable velocity if either its speed changes or its direction changes. Speed means it is magnitude of velocity. Okay. Now the last one, fourth one is instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity. So it is the velocity at a particular instant of time. Okay, the velocity of a particle at a particular instant, so at a particular point of time. That is called as which one? Instantaneous velocity. So this velocity, the symbol we are giving as vector v. So vector v. So vector v represents instantaneous velocity. That means velocity at a particular instant of time or a particular time. That is given by, same like the speed, we can write this limit delta t tends to 0. That means whenever the time interval is reducing to 0, so it is pointing to a particular time, then at that time we can write as delta x by delta t, and this whole term can be written as which one? Dx, vector x we have to put here, dx by dt. And here also we have to put x. So what is the difference is, here we are using displacement, but in the case of speed we are using distance. But here we are using displacement. Displacement is a vector quantity. That is why I put here vector. In case of which one? Instantaneous velocity. But in the case of instantaneous speed, we should not have to put which one? Vector, because speed is a scalar quantity. So these are the different types of which one? Velocity. So first one is uniform velocity. Next one variable velocity. Third one average velocity, as well as fourth one is instantaneous velocity.